Caulk and Block. All right, everybody, we're here. You've seen us and you've seen this channel a few times, but we've upped our game a little bit. We've got a pretty great guest with us. For any of you that have seen the show Dual Survival or any of these shows, you've probably heard the name Joe Teti. He's a complete bad bleep when it comes to survival and sort of this whole genre of getting out into the unknown and, you know, learning what you're about as a man. Yeah. So he's somebody that Josh and I, we really like. You've probably heard us talk about him a few times. And we are so lucky to have him here. So here on the Caulk and Block.
Yeah, no problem. I think you've been on more episodes of that show than anyone else, I think. 42 episodes.
I think you hold the record for the amount of episodes.
Yeah.
Definitely the most entertaining. And I think, sir, we learned the most from Joe.
Yeah.
Because we watch this show. Obviously, we live in, you know, like a house. We want to like, you know. But I think we've learned the most from you, Joe. Definitely.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
And we have a few questions, if that's cool with you. We'd love to ask you a few questions, just some basic stuff. One of the things that really Josh and I are really into is like knives and fortune fire. You know, everybody's really into that right now. But one thing is that we both use our knives. We go out in the woods, we camp, we actually use them. So we're always kind of on the search. I have a whole row of knives in front of me right here, but really I would love to know if you were camping. It's a dual question here. If you were gonna go camping and you had $100 to spend on a knife, what would be the knife that you would take?
Wow. Well, first off, we know that there's no one knife that does everything, right?
Absolutely.
The knife you're going to gut a squirrel with is not the knife that you're going to, you know, chop your wood up with, right? So it depends on the what application you're going to use the knife for. But if you're going camping, like like a family camping thing, where you're not having to take into other things into account, $100 probably gets you good. Now, I'll tell you who makes I have one, I just got one, who makes a really cool multi-purpose knife, and they've been around for over 100 years, is Buck. Buck makes really, man, I know, right? Old school Buck knives, right? But you're giving me that $100 price point because that falls right in there. You're looking at knives between $80 and $90, 5-inch blade, might hard to handle, that kind of thing. If you wanted to bump up that number a little bit, of course, you've got companies like Tops, you know, who made my Surf Tac 7 that I used on the show. And but again, a little higher quality, better steel, that kind of thing, right? But $100, man.
Buck knife is a good knife that you could potentially use to cut some stuff, but it won't be the knife you're gonna baton, you know, wood apart or anything like that.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, if you're gonna be beating on it, you need a high quality knife. You know, full tang, you know, 1/4-inch thick. Like my Surf Tac 7 was a beast. It was really heavy. But man, there's no way you could beat on it. I could put that thing in a door jamb and hang on it. Like it'd be impossible to break in the field, like, you know. So, you know, you want something with about a 5-inch blade on it. That's something you can chop a little bit, but it's not too big if you need to gut something. A lot of people have asked me about axes. You know, I've got a few, but I really don't use them. They're kind of like a one-trick pony kind of thing. You know, you can chop wood with it. That's about it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's about it, you know. But you know, my Surf Tac 7 was a beast. The blade was 7 inches, I think it was even longer than that. It was heavy, but you could chop through, you know, decent sized pieces of wood. You know, obviously you're not going to cut a tree down with it, but I've cut plenty of saplings down that were, you know, the size of a softball. But, you know, Buck, I'll be honest with you, Buck makes some really good products. They've been around for over 100 years. So Yeah, I know. I said that a lot of people were like a buck, but yeah.
It makes sense. It may make sense. It's bridging that gap. like I carry a Fisker's Nord. I think it's a Nord 9.
Yeah, yeah.
But you are absolutely right in that it's good at like one thing, and I'm always trying to determine how do I bridge the gap between my axe and literally everything else. And I guess that's the question. And you said a full tank.
Everybody has a folder. Everybody's got a folder, right?
Yeah.
That would be great for gutting an animal and just do a little, whittling and fine work, that kind of thing. Like when I built that crossbow, I don't know if you saw that. When I built a crossbow.
Absolutely, we did.
That took a long, long time. They compressed it down, but, that was very difficult to make because I didn't have a real small knife. I mean, small, like a blade. That's what you need, like 2 inches. But if you just had a folder, that would be great.
Little open L.
That's it, bro. You do something small like that for finite work, and then something big for chopping, and that's basically what you need. There you go. Yeah, and that actually looks like the knife that Matt used to carry.
It is.
Yeah,
We tried to find
a really good knife right there. That's a great knife. It's very lightweight, and it'll get the job done.
I actually wanted to get your SurfTac 7
but
knife,
but we
came late to the game and they're out of stock.
We can't find it. Yeah, we've tried to get it. We can't get it.
It's tough, man. But I'll tell you, to be quite honest with you, Matt's knife is more practical. That thing's very lightweight. Mine's kind of heavy. But I seen Matt chop down trees, with that thing, and the way the blade is curved. Yeah. And look,
it's got some meat.
Matt knows more about primitive skills and surviving than I'll ever know. And that was the yin and yang on the show. I was the spec ops guy. Let's get the hell out of here. I don't want to camp. I don't want to eat bugs. I want to get back to my house and my jacuzzi tub,
Let's be honest. None of us want to eat bugs.
But that's a great knife you got there, dude. Very, very well designed. I used it on the show, just messing around with it, and I really, really liked it. So yeah, that's a home run right there.
What do you think about the? And again, we've tried to get our hands on yours, but what do you think about the Condor Pterosaur?
I've never used it. I've seen a picture of it. Does that have a micarta handle on it, or is it GT?
It's a molded. I believe it's a molded. It's technically a 3/4 tang, but it's molded like 1 millimeter or 2 on the north and south side.
Here's what I'll tell you, man. Be careful when your hands get wet.
Oh.
Especially with micarta and some of the other, I don't want to say plastics, but I have really been chopping and whoosh.
Oh.
My knife came right out of my hand because my hands were cold and my hands were wet, and that shit gets real slippery.
Hard to get a hold on.
Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you're using your tools. If there's anybody behind you, I've had that happen with my knife. Matter of fact, one time I did it and it flew out of my hand, and it took us about an hour to find the damn thing because it's So anyway, there's all pros and cons, whether you use G10, micarta, wood, whatever the case may be. Just understand there's pros and cons in each. Micarta will last forever. G10 will last forever, but slippery when it gets wet, right? Mm-hmm. Unless you got some gloves on.
Right.
But I'll be honest with you. If I were to design another knife, I would make the handle out of almost rubber. Like, you ever been in a horse barn? I've got one knife like this. The padding that's on the bottom of a horse barn, a real thick rubber.
Absolutely.
If you make a grip out of that for a knife, that would be the shit.
Kind of like I think it's the Moriniv Gansberg. I think that has I think that's what you're talking about. It's got like a plastic, but it's coated in that rubbery. So you think that rubbery, that's the way to go.
I've got a Winkler knife. There's more of a fighting knife, and it's got rubber on it. And let me tell you something, man. Once you grab that damn thing, it ain't coming out of your hand. It just feels good. Nice. And I don't know what kind of rubber Mr. Winkler uses, but it's perfect. But it kind of reminds me of the rubber that you would see like on a really high quality mat. You know what I mean? Super, super hard and dense.
Almost like something you'd see in a kitchen down where they'd be stepping, right?
Yes, dude, super hard.
Yeah.
And I love this knife, man. It's beautiful. It's very simplistic, minimalistic. With the grip on it, I think they call it their. You can probably Google. It's called their Recon 2 or something. I may have that name. But they call it the Recon knife, and it's just a really. It feels great in your hand, and it's just a very simplistic blade, but it's got that rubber handle. And man, you grab that thing, and it ain't.
Yeah, like
it ain't coming out of your hand.
So good, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very cool. Awesome, man. This is why we are so happy to talk to you, bud. So we wanted to ask about that. We wanted to ask about your top serve tack. Is there going to be another iteration of that we could get our hands on?
I'll be honest with you, probably not. It was one of those things where we ran it during the show, and contractually with them, once the show was done, the knives, because this is like anything, you know.
Yeah.
Who, you know, weren't you that guy? I get it. It's a business thing. Yeah. So, but they make amazing knives, and for anybody that hasn't used or felt a Tops knife, super high quality. You know, they use very high quality metals. You know, unless you want to use something like, I don't know if Matt's knife is, but I think he uses carbon steel on his, so you can start a spark. I think it is. I'm not sure.
Maybe something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, but for those of you that are wanting to buy a knife, you can Google all this stuff. It just depends on the Rockwell scale. You don't want a knife that's so high on the scale or so low that it's so brittle when it gets razor sharp, it breaks. But then again, you don't want it so high. You want it right around a 58 or 60. That's what works for me. 58 to 60 hardness, something like that is a good number.
Balance the roll versus the chip, right?
Exactly right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You want to be able to sharpen it, but you don't need to be able to shave with it.
Right.
But you want to be able to smash with it, and it won't chip. Right.
So that's good advice.
Yeah, kind of like right in the middle of the road. You know.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right. Well, so wait, before we move past that, if there were a knife today, because this really matters, because depending on what you say, I might go buy it. What's the knife today? Let's say I wanted to completely get rid of my Fisker's axe. I have a bare bones Nada tool. I've got all these knives. What is the one blade that I could go out? I don't do anything major. You know, maybe making a few sticks to pop up a tarp. You know what I mean?
Right.
What's the one blade to carry today? Just for basic Matthew Banwork camping, nothing, you know, crazy.
Yeah. And how much do you want to see? It all boils down to how.
$150. $150.
$150.
$150. Good blade, something decent, maybe 200.
Boy, I tell you, if you could go a little bit more. The Tom Brown tracker knife, I got to be honest with you, I hadn't used one in so long, and I bought one recently, and I love the damn thing. It's kind of a very unique design, but it's very functional, and there's all kind of different versions. Tops makes them, and some other people make them as well. But it's called a Tom Brown tracker. And you can get them in different sizes too. Like you can get the small one, you get the full size one. Check that knife out, dude. When I first saw it, I'm like, I don't know. And then finally I ended up buying one, and I'm like, this is a very versatile blade that does, that feels good in your hand. It's pretty well balanced. There's you got some oomph on the metal side. So if you're chopped.
Yeah.
But check out, have you ever seen one?
No, I haven't. But I've written it down.
Yeah, if you go to Tops and just type in Tom Brown tracker, and they've got several different models.
Okay.
But
so guys, if you're watching this right now, I will be putting a picture of a Tom Brown tracker right down there so that we can share.
Check it out. Check it out. And again, you're going to probably look at it and go, wow, it's a very odd shaped knife, and but it's for camping and survival type stuff. It's actually very functional.
Okay,
very functional.
That's
Tom Brown tracker. Yeah. I would say the ServTac 7, but you can't get it no more. But for something like that, and dude, you're not going to break that knife, especially if you get it from Tops. Dude, there's no way.
Tang? Is it a full tang?
Yes,
knife?
sir. Yeah, all of their knives are. Yeah, they're full tang micarta and or G10. I think they use G10 and micarta,
Yeah,
or you can. I think you can order it one way or the other on their website. But and you can get different color G10 and different color micarta. So,
To your
but it's a
knowledge,
pretty bad
Joe,
knife, man.
is there a difference between structurally between G10 and micarta, or are they just about as tough?
Dude, it's about the same. It's
About the
just
same, huh?
layers of laminate, and and I'm not an expert at it. What I understand, it's the substance that actually holds the layers together. As you know, micarta is just layers and layers and layers. Right. That's why it has that really cool finish when you sand it.
Looks great.
Basically like paper, or I guess it's not really paper, but it's very, very durable. It's durable. But again, you grab that when your hands are cold and numb, and a lot of people don't think about that, and I've had it happen, and thank God there wasn't anybody behind me. So
Gone.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So again, there's no one perfect knife, but check out the Tom Brown tracker. I think when you look at it, awesome. You're gonna kind of do this, and I did the same thing. Well, but
I'll get one, and we'll try it out and see what.
Dude, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Cool.
Sweet.
Is it
yes,
it's not a folding? I mean, well, you said
no,
it's a full
no,
tang.
sir.
So
it's a full tang.
It's a full tang.
Yeah, full tang. They make them in different sizes. They've got like a mini, then they've got the full size. The full size is about that big.
Cool.
And it just has a very unique blade sweep to it, it's really a good multi-purpose knife. I mean, obviously, you can gut an animal with it, a big game animal, of course, but I've actually gutted with my SurfTac 7 a rabbit. I remember, I can't remember in Norway, and I was basically holding the blade trying to do that. It's tough when your hands are cold. So again, always good to have a little folder in your pocket.
Trying to do that little fine stuff with frozen hands.
And one big Johnny Home record knife for chopping and everything else,
That's
right.
awesome. Awesome, Joe. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So we really want to hear about what you got going on, but I got one more question for you, if you don't mind. If today, you obviously already have the skills. This wouldn't be a challenge for you. But let's just say today you were going to be on that TV show alone, and they said, Joe Teti, 5 things. You got 30 minutes.
Oh, 10. They offer 10.
10 things. 30 minutes.
And Joe, we've seen your videos on the bug out bag.
So we already know. We already know that you know. But really, if it's dialed down to 10, we've talked about this. We'd love to know your bare bones. What are the 10?
What environment are you putting me in?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's always Canada, right? It's
no, not Canada.
British Columbia?
No, we're dropping Joe into Death Valley. We're from Central California.
Okay, so you're putting me in a arid,
in an arid, dry. You gotta find water.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, for starters, let's start with a knife. I would definitely want a knife, right?
Of
That's
course.
That's a basic survival tool. Always has been, always will be, right? Gotta have a knife.
Absolutely.
If you're putting me there, I definitely would want something for shelter. And this would pretty much be anywhere, guys. Food, water, shelter, fire, right? So I'd want a knife. I'd want some kind of shelter. If I had a backpack, I'd put a decent sized tent in it, like a 2-person dome tent. If not, maybe just an old school military poncho liner or poncho. You ever seen the old school ponchos?
Yeah.
When I was in the Marine Corps, dude, when I was in Force Recon, that's what our hooches were.
You got a tent,
bungee cords, and a piece of 550 cord, and that was a one-man hooch. So you would want something to keep.
Actually, Joe, I'm sorry to interrupt. Would you guys literally take a stick up through the hood of that guy?
No.
And make a teepee out of it?
No. You put bungee cords on each corner, right? Uh-huh. Then you take a piece of you take the hood and tie it in a knot so it doesn't leak. Oh. Then you take a piece of 550 cord and you bring a branch out and it holds it up. Yeah.
That's so smart.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. That's how we used to do it. Dude, you could throw that tent up. No shit, dude. It would start to rain. We'd be on patrol or something, and they were like, hey, man, we're going to set up our patrol base. And, well, the Marine Corps called it a harbor site. Army calls it a patrol base. I could throw that thing up literally in about 2 minutes. I had it all rolled up. I just threw it out, found a good spot, bungee cord. The hood was already tied in a knot, had the 550 cord already run it, pulled a sapling down, boop,
and
done.
You're dry for the night.
Done, dude, you're done.
Awesome.
So yeah, so that's like a poor man. That's like a poor man hooch. But yeah, so I'd have a knife. I'd have a poncho or something for shelter. I would definitely want something for purifying water. I'd probably want to either have like a survival straw or a Sawyer. One of those mini Sawyers.
Do you think those light straws are they any good? Yeah, something
dude,
like that.
I've used those a lot. Let me tell you. And I got a shitty stomach, and I've never got sick sucking water like out of rocks and stuff. Never.
Oh.
Yeah, man, because you always find little pockets of water in those kind of environments after it rains, or even if you get down. Like I remember we went into a valley, Matt and I did, and there was water pockets that you couldn't drink it. But if you had one of the survival straws, you could easily do. So you'd want one of those. Yeah, I would want a container to boil water too. Like an aluminum pot to boil water. Fire, no brainer, dude. Just a freaking lighter. And if you didn't want a lighter, I'm not into rubbing sticks together. I'm not really good at it. And, I always tell people, if you're reduced to rubbing sticks together in a survival situation, you done screwed up so bad. You deserve to be taken out of the food chain.
You know what? It is fun to rub some sticks together, but I think we both agree that in this day and age, there's no damn need for it.
It's very cool to watch somebody like Cody or Matt do it because they're experts at it, and to watch how they finesse it. But as far as me, just give me a freaking lighter or a ferrosodium rod, period. That's it.
I've always, whenever I've gone backpacking up in the Sierra Nevadas, I just go and I buy a cheap pack of like 12 lighters, and I throw them in the bottom of my bag. And I'm like, I literally have like 2 months worth of fire. I don't even have to worry about it.
We get
absolutely.
So we use a Fresnel lens.
We do have some, like, we got all the strikers, and he got us some Fresnel lens. And they work great.
They're very good. They're very quick.
A lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I mean, because anything you do, you need to do it fast, especially if you're hypothermic. Absolutely. And I've been in those situations where, like, man, we got about 10 freaking minutes to get a fire going.
The sun's down and the temperature drops.
You don't have time to be freaking around, dude. You just got to get it done. So, ferrosodium rod, lighter. I would also want a high quality waterproof headlamp. For moving at night. So a lot of people say a flashlight. Not a good idea, because if you're trying to do something and you need your other hand, what are you going to do? Put your flashlight in your mouth? I mean, just have a freaking headlamp, right? So I'd want a high quality headlamp. If I could have anything, I'd want a pen gun flare set. And those are hard to find. I actually went to a gun show a few months ago, and it was at a jewelry table, and I looked down and there was a military grade issue pen gun flare still in the bag.
Wow.
I was like, how much do you want for that? I would have gave that lady $100. She asked me, she's gonna give me 40 and it's yours. So like, and if you don't know what a little pen gun flare, it's just a little flare. You screw it on the end of this thing, has a little spring activated device, and it shoots up a flare. They're tiny. Pen gun flare, great survival thing. And I think you get 1, 2, 3, 4. I think you get 6 flares, like 3 green and 3 red. Great piece of kit. Hard to find, but great piece of kit. I would want anything.
Yeah. Anything.
12 gauge shotgun, express.
I mean, of course.
Let's talk about this real quick though. Everybody goes, oh, what kind of gun would you take in a survival? I take a pistol or an M4. Think about it this way, guys. You can't shoot birds with an M4. You can't shoot waterfowl. With a 12-gauge shotgun, you can put slugs in it. You can put double-aught buck in it. You can put 7.5-inch or a 7.5 shot in it for birds. It's a multi-purpose survival gun. Yeah. And a Remington 870 Express Magnum, hands down, is the survival gun.
Hey, Joe, real quick, because I want to, I guess we didn't do our Zoom right, so we're going to run out in 8 minutes, and I really want to hear about your course. But really quickly, what do you think about the over/under 22 410s?
Yeah, dude, I used to have one. Those are very cool for survival. They also have a gun called a drilling that is like a shotgun in like a 30-06 or a shotgun in a 308. They're super expensive though. They're thousands. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, great little survival gun for sure. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Okay, Joe, please, and I'm so sorry to rush you, but I guess we did this wrong. Please just tell us everything about what you are currently offering. I might be out on the East Coast soon, and I'd love to be there. We just want to hear about what you are offering.
Yeah.
Well, if you go to joeteti.com, that's joeteti.com, all my stuff is on there. First off, we have an intel report that we're putting out every Sunday, and it's very short, about 7 pages, and it's non-biased. It's completely factual shit, not stuff you read on TV, that I run by certain friends of mine that are still in the intelligence community. It's $9.99 a month. Okay. You know, it's nothing. And we send it out every Sunday. That's one thing. We have our Spartan Americana course, which is Wet Sea, the Warriors Edge training course. That's a 2-day course now. And we talk about pistol, carbine, land navigation, hostage survival, leadership, Kim's games, apprehension avoidance. It's kind of like a John Wick course, right? You get a little bit of everything. And I can the best way for that, guys, is for me to come to you. It's cheaper. You can come here and we have a place, but it's much cheaper if you got a group of guys together, like 8 dudes. It would be so cheaper for me to come there than everybody fly here and all that stuff. So and then
you provide like logistics training for teams, etc., things like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a great thing for especially like corporate. I did one. There was one company bought all the seats. The CEO sent like all of his top guys to it. They loved it. Like it was a really good bonding experience, and they learned a lot of cool shit. So I have that going on. Then I have T1 Performance Nutrition, which is performance supplements for men and women over 45. Yeah. So I just got sick and tired of trying to find quality supplements for a guy my age, and I couldn't find them. They were there, and I tried them, like, these suck. They're giving me gas, or they gave me headaches, or I crashed off them. So I said, screw it, I'll make my own. And I partnered with a company, and so I'm doing that. And it's T1 Performance Nutrition. You can just go online.
If it's okay, I'm definitely going to add links. Guys, if you're watching this, the links will be in the description, because we're 40 plus. This is very perfect.
Yeah, dude, it's good stuff. It's good. I got a T booster, a multivitamin, a pre-workout, and a testosterone boost multivitamin and a pre-workout. So it's a good package. And soon we'll have a protein, protein powder. And then I also have Dale and my buddy Dale, we have a performance coaching company called Tier 1 Performance Coaching. And that's an 8-week program with my buddy Dale Comstock, former Delta guy. And we served in a government counter-terrorist unit together. That's where I met him. He came in from Delta, and I came in from Special Forces. So I met Dale, and he's a great guy. And so we got that going on as well. And my book, I wrote a book, Lone Operator, and you can buy that on Amazon. And it was basically a autobiography, lessons learned, growing up, serving, business, stupid mistakes, all the dumb shit I did, all the lessons I learned. Hopefully you can get,
badass warrior for your country. I mean,
yeah. Dude, I'll be honest with you. Everybody, it's so funny. People see me because they, the way I am now, but if you would have saw me in high school, there's actually a picture in my book. I weighed 99 pounds when I went to Marine Corps boot camp.
What?
And there's a picture in my book, me in high school, and skin and bones, dude. Like, you see my rib cage. But, it's just, I was just around the right people and the right mentors. And, I was very, very lucky to get into the units I was in. And, everything comes with a price, your body takes a toll, and you see good men die. And, everybody thinks that it's all sexy when in fact it's really not, there's a big price. And I do want to say one thing. I see a lot of these spec ops guys on TV, or not on TV, but on these podcasts. They talk about combat like it's a sport. It's not a fucking sport, okay? It's barbaric. And people die. And it bothers me sometimes when I see these guys talking about it, like, what the, like, you got to screw loose, dude. Like, this is not a sport, you know? It's life and death, and it's barbaric, and good men die for scumbags, you know? And I've never, you know, sensationalized that kind of work, because it's really, in my opinion, you can't sensationalize it. It's horrifically disgusting work, but it has to be done.
It is. And, you know, Joe, I think we probably ought to take a moment to thank you and everybody else that's
for your service.
like, we don't know what it's like to be in that, and and it does get glorified. You're right, especially in this world. There's a lot of glorification of the ugly aspect of the things that are really necessary to keep us going, and we thank you for that. We really do appreciate you.
Too many movies, too many books, sensationalized. That's my opinion. You know, especially when it comes to the special operations side of the house, that shit should remain quiet and kept in the shadows where it needs to be. But unfortunately, that just hasn't happened. But anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much it, man. You know, just staying in shape and growing a garden right now. Just bought a greenhouse. So I'm giving my girlfriend to growing some stuff, just some vegetables and things, and that's it, man. Just living life, relaxing, and just being happy.
I mean, you're kind of living the dream, bud. I mean, you're in your 50s, you're fit, you're healthy, you're doing well. You've got love in your life. You're growing your own vegetables.
I'm very happy.
So lucky, right?
Yeah.
Like,
that sounds great.
Like Joe, you are
every day you gotta be
inspiration,
thankful.
bud. You really are.
Every day you be thankful. You know, I always, people say, I'll do it tomorrow. And tomorrow I say, you must have God's cell phone number, because tomorrow isn't promised. You know what I'm saying? Like, nothing is promised. And you got to live today to the fullest and be thankful for what you have. Because I can tell you so many stories about people they thought were going to be around tomorrow and they were gone, you know, and it's sad.
Absolutely.
And it's just the way life is. So enjoy what you have while you have it, you know?
Well, Joe, I mean, I think I can speak for both of us, man. Like, this has been, I don't want to lose you. We didn't.
Let's do this again, guys. Yeah, when
we
you
would love to do this
let's do
again.
it again. Yeah, for sure.
You know what? We have a camping trip coming up, and we'll probably do a review of some of our basic camping stuff. Nothing fancy.
That would be great.
We would love to, like, bring you back and talk about what we've learned and applied from you, dude.
Yeah, no, do that. And it would be great to talk about the camping trip and, like, maybe something you learned, you know, or something we can talk about, you know, how you might have corrected that. And I'll tell you what we can talk about, too, is why people actually get into survival situations.
Right.
Highly misunderstood.
You know what?
Everybody thinks it's that one big oops, and that's not how it works.
Can we plan this? Let's have another video where that's what we talk about, because everybody's so into it right now. It's a brilliant discussion. Yeah.
Absolute misconception. Everybody thinks, oh, well, my car broke down. No. It's much more than that. It is a comedy of errors, and we can get into that. And I'll tell you exactly how it happens. And you can take this to the bank. You can ask Matt. You can ask Cody. You can ask anybody.
To find out what Joe says next, subscribe to the Caulk and Block so you don't miss out on part 2 of our Joe Teti series. And when you finish there, head on over to Joe's websites, t1performancenutrition.com and spartanamericana.com. Links in the description below. We want to give a special thanks to Joe for taking time out of his day for us. It was a huge honor, and we really look forward to talking with you again. Thanks, Joe, and thanks to all of you watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you all next time.